Yeah, hello everybody. Welcome once again to the continuation of our HTML. Today we are going to be discussing or talking about or treating HTML entities. HTML entities. So before that, let me just yeah, I forgot to tell you, for those of you that are using VS Code and you want to have a boilerplate code, maybe all those things that we treated to check if our codes uh, follows the standard. When we checked on W3C validators, so all those standards that we implemented. So for you to have those standard the shortcuts to it is just to uh, press your tab button and have shift one. When you press shift one, you just punch enter. So what it does is it's uh it brings out the boilerplate code. You understand? What are boilerplate? Boilerplate, that is boiler plate. What are boilerplate code? Boilerplate codes are like templates that we can reuse. A kind of preset template, code template that we can reuse rather than trying to, it save a lot of time trying to type out this old stuff, in making sure we follow the standard of um, structuring our web page, using HTML code. So, that being said, let's not digress further than we have. You know, let's get back to learning HTML entities. HTML entities is what I'm talking about. HTML entities. Sorry, excuse me. Come on there. Yeah, let me come on it. I think I need it. I need to use a word wrap. Let me see if I can use a word wrap. Let me go to view. If you're on VS Code, just go to your. If you're on Mac, you can go to view or word wrap. Yes, so that I will not be switching between. I will not be um, trying to come on a new line. It will just um, VS Code will just assist me in doing that automatically. All right. That being said, HTML entities are special code. You know, the special codes. Let me type it out. HTML entities. Uh, these are what we are doing. These are what we are treating today. We're starting with HTML entities. And of course, you are going to be going further than this. So HTML entities are special codes um, used in HTML documents to represent reserved characters or symbols that have special meaning in HTML or that cannot be easily typed or displayed directly. There are some special symbols or characters that cannot be typed directly. Of course, our browsers may not understand them. So these HTML entities are ways to encode such characters or symbols in a format that can be understood and rendered correctly by our web browsers. So, in HTML, entities are denoted by ampersand. Ampersand. This is what ampersand is. This is a spelling. Ampersand. Ampersand. Yeah, ampersand. And this is what it means. This is ampersand. This is ampersand. This thing here is called ampersand. So, um, like I said, in HTML, entities are denoted by what ampersand, followed by a specific name or code, and then a kind of semicolon. For example, we can have ampersand, say AMP semicolon, and of course, this sound stand, which this represents ampersand character, and that is if you want to write and if you want to write this ampersand in the body of your HTML. For your browser to be able to understand this, you need to write this ampersand and this AMP code, so as for the browser to be able to understand that you are intending to write this one thing here. You understand? So, um, like I said, it will represent the ampersand character and of course, if we have something like this, we can have something like this, say ampersand LT, which stands for less than sign. If you want to write less than sign without the HTML code regarding it as error, so you have to write ampersand LT and of course followed by what, semicolon. Of course, this represents this. So um, HTML entities are primarily used to represent characters that have special significance in HTML itself. For example, let's say we have, for example, in a situation where we have, um, say, ampersand, this ampersand, yeah. Uh, this, let me, command Z, command Z, command Z. Okay, sorry, command Y. Okay, so, Y. Okay, let me just write it. Um, Okay. Ampersand, for example, we have, uh, say, um, we have, okay, let's say, for example, we have ampersand, say, okay, like I've written before, A, ANP, of course, which represent what? To avoid, this is to avoid um, confusion with the start of an entity, you know. Secondly, let me recap on what I was saying. I said HTML entities are primarily used to represent characters that have special kind of significance in HTML itself. For example, trying to write this ampersand and you know to avoid confusion with the start of the entity. Then number two, less than sign and greater than sign. These are represented as what? Like I told you before, ampersand LT for less than sign, shift this, or let me write it, or uh, ampersand GT semicolon for what? For say greater than sign. You understand? So that is that, respectively to differentiate them from HTML tags. These are written respectively to differentiate them from HTML tags. The other one is quotation marks. Double quotation marks are represented as what? Let me say, to write double quotation mark, we have something like ampersand APOS. You know, no, excuse me, ampersand. Yes, 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 yes. No, 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 no. Excuse me. It is ampersand QUOT. QUOT. You understand? It is used to represent what, double quotation mark. Why the single quotation mark? That is what I'm. This is what I'm talking about. You understand? It is used to represent what, double quotation mark. And to write single quotation mark and for single we have ampersand ampersand APOS, which I mistook for double quotation. Please, you understand? So, uh, although this later is not supported in all browser, which is this APOS single is not all browser that accept it. And I think um, Google Chrome accepts it anyways. So HTML entity are also used to represent characters that may not be easily typed on the keyboard or to display characters that have special meaning, such as non-breaking spaces. Some common example. I remember I told you that, if you can remember in our last class, I told you that HTML is white space collapsing, meaning no matter the number amount of spaces you introduce to it, it won't have effect on the body of the HTML, on the body of the website or our web page. It won't have HTML until you introduce some kind of uh, uh, some kind of uh, line breaking element. You understand? So in this case, if you want to create some kind of indentation, you understand, you can use what? Ampersand. If you want to ampersand, say NBS P. And of course, I think, let me see, NBSP means non issue, it means non-breaking, uh, it means non-breaking space. Yes, let me see if VS Code we recognize it. Okay, VS Code is not highlighting it. It means non-breaking space. You understand? It is represented as what? As this, and it's used to insert a space that prevents line breaks between words. You understand? Another one we are looking at is copyright symbol. This copyright symbol C. It is represented as using ampersand copy. You know, ampersand copy. I just want to use this. I'm still explaining this, so I'm going to use all this um, in a code, in practical. So I just want to explain to you so as for you to have, my style is I'll explain, then I'll practice, I'll put it in practice so that it will not be talking, 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 and of course it will not be what practice, practical, practical, practical. So I want to be giving you the theory, the practical. So in this case, I'm going to be as I'm explaining, I'm just trying to give you an in-depth understanding of all these things. Of course, we have registered trademark symbol, that is ampersand REG. We have the euro symbol, ampersand euro. We have the dash symbol, uh, uh, ampersand M dash. These are there are numerous HTML entities available to represent different characters and symbols. You know, and of course, they provide a standardized way to include special characters in HTML documents and ensure that they are displayed correctly across different browsers. So, different browsers and platforms. And so, in our next class, I'm going to be using them. We're gonna be seeing how they are working in practical. You know, how we're gonna be so handy with all these things. You understand? So please stay tuned for the next class. So thank you for watching and God bless you.